is set to hit cinema screens this coming week in Europe. The film adaptation of the novel by the British author J.R.R. Tolkien is set to follow in the footsteps of the first movie. The box office hit was the 15th most watched movie in the world last year. Let's have a look at some of the premiere's highlights of the second movie.
The second part of the Hobbit motion picture trilogy, The Desolation of Smaug, had its European premiere on Monday night. Fans waited for hours to catch a glimpse of the stars. Martin Freeman, who played the main character Bilbo Baggins, and Richard Armitage, who portrayed the dwarf leader Thorin. There were free tickets for the best costumes on the red carpet, and these three young ladies have obviously earned theirs.
I'm super mega excited. We spent 6 hours getting ready, especially because of all the hair for the dwarves.
And what makes it worth doing?
Because it's fun to run around as the Dwarf King. It's great.
Tolkien's world is everything that means anything to anyone. Heroes, adventure, just everything you could ever wish for. Not even a broken arm could keep me away.
The second part of The Hobbit is something of a prologue to the much larger Lord of the Rings. The main character, Bilbo Baggins, has to find the courage to press on to the dwarf kingdom of Erebor. And en route, he finds his courage. Bilbo will need that courage for the road to Erebor, and help from Gandalf the Grey as well as the dwarf leader Thorin Oakenshield. In the kingdom under the mountain, the dragon Smaug hoards a vast treasure of gold. Smaug has turned the land into a wilderness, or desolation. New Zealand director Peter Jackson shot part 2 over the past 12 months. The complex action scenes were shot on set. The Hobbit trilogy has already run up over 400 million euros in production costs, nearly twice as much as the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The new 3D process is sharper, and the pace is quicker. There are more special effects and fight scenes too.
Somehow it just ratchets up in this middle chapter, just as it did in The Two Towers, in a kind of a way that it's like you put the gas pedal on, basically. After the first movie, you say, okay, everybody knows everything they need to know now. We've got 2 more movies. Let's slam on the gas and go for it.
The print version of The Hobbit has sold about 100 million copies worldwide. It was written by British author John Ronald Reuel Tolkien in 1937. Tolkien lived much of his life in Oxford, north of the British capital London. He served as a language professor at Oxford for 34 years. Stuart D. Lee has been researching Tolkien's academic writings and his novels, The Hobbit among them, for years.
The attraction of the tale is that it works on many levels. It is a children's book. It was aimed at children. It originated from stories he told to his own children. But at the same time, if you pick it up as an adult, if you read it again, you can see that there are undercurrents there. There are asides which are quite deep, quite philosophical.
Tolkien's tranquil academic life in Oxford stood in sharp contrast to the adventures he wrote. He studied Latin, Greek, and English at Exeter College from 1911 to 1915 and became a philologist. But he spent more time on his novels than on academic writing, eventually producing the works that would secure his reputation as the father of modern fantasy.
You get the story of the quest in both The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, but then you do feel that there's a depth to it. And I think that's why Tolkien is so successful. If you compare him with some of the other fantasy writers, they don't really know where their story is going, and they're inventing the world as they go along, whereas Tolkien had the world in his head already.
The Desolation of Smaug will go on general release in Germany on December 12th. Other countries will also show it around mid-December. These Berlin fans have already lived through it and come out exhilarated. Many of them waited for 24 hours or more.
Winning the tickets was awesome, and the anticipation with the other fans was cool, and the movie was the icing on the cake.
Oh my God! It was Fabulous costumes. I'm inspired to make more mischief.
It was so worthwhile. We were inside for the European premiere, not just on the red carpet, but inside. What could be better?
Fans are saying that Part 2 of the Hobbit trilogy delivers more action and intensity and whets their appetite for more. Part 3 is due out in late 2014.